Being recorded.
Okay, we're going to call to order this 1424th Board of Directors regular meeting. Ralph, close to the flag and lead us on the pledge.
Please do. Please join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chairman Adams.
Here.
Vice Chair Carhart.
here.
Director Irwin.
Here.
Director O'Farrell.
Here.
Director Manning. Here. All present.
Okay. We've been to audience and public comment on non-agenda items. The person may address the board in any subject within the jurisdiction of the Fairfax Recreation Parks District. Each speaker is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Any matter requiring board action will be referred to staff or committee for a report and action and subsequent meeting. Do we have anybody online with any public? We don't have anything.
Sorry, I'm just giving them a moment, but at the moment, it does not. Nope.
All righty. Move on to approval of the agenda. Motion to approve. Yeah, do we need to move? Yeah, everything is going to be as order, except there was a request for item number 8, which is our closed session. The district administrator review be moved to the end behind board and staff reports.
You don't have to push it off.
The motion is.
Just
I would like to make a motion to amend or
Motion is amended. And I'll second that.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we need a consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board of directors to be routine, will be acted upon in a single motion, and will not be separate discussions on these items unless a request is made prior to the time that the board considers a motion to approve. The motion on
I move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
On to agenda item numero uno is 7.1 monthly Fairfax advisory report. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Board of Directors. My name is Mary Stokely, Recreation Supervisor. I am the advisor for the Fairfax Advisory Board. Unfortunately, our chair was unable to make it today. But we don't have a whole lot new to report for FOIAB. In this past month, the students this week are all volunteering at the Rockies Hollow Week event. So that's different parks each day, and they're hosting an activity booth at that event. So the kids are all very busy doing that. We have gotten into our service group committees, and they are planning to start volunteering in the next month or so, and that will go through the rest of the term. Additionally, we are bringing back our FOIA bonding day. It's a chance for the students to just get a chance to know each other better, build those bonds of friendship, leadership, all that great stuff, and that's happening at the end of this week. And other than that, not a whole lot more to report. Any questions?
No questions, but it's a great group. I've always been wondering if we should get them more involved in some of the policy and recreation issues here, so that we make use of the term advisory.
Absolutely.
You know, I'd like to see their role expanded so that they provide some input on what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great group.
Thanks, Mary. Okay, 7.2, which is the receive and file presentation for wayfinding site plan. John, will you do that?
Good evening, Board of Directors. John Ventura, Parks Facilities Manager. I'm just up here to do a quick introduction for John Rosio, who is our representative from Merge Design, who's been working really closely with us on our wayfinding sign manual. At this point, it has already been approved by the board. We've just been putting the final touches on it at this point. It is completed, and so we figured we'd give you a quick presentation on what we have here. Take it away, John.
Thank you, everybody. My name's John Bozio, and I'm principal in charge of Merge, in charge of the Fair Oaks Sign Standards Manual. I'm just going to give you an overview of the manual that we've completed with Sean and the group. Just a quick background. You may be familiar with some of the early work we did on the project, where we did a inventory and audit of all the signs in all of the parks in Fair Oaks. We captured all the information, assigned a sign type to it, identified what kind of quality it was in, and took measurements of many signs that were out there. We also went through a design process where we presented multiple design options and landed on a final version. There were still some changes. We added the logo to this and some other minor adjustments that made it into the manual. The manual, it's about 200 pages, so I'm not going to go through all of it, but I'm going to give you a summary of the type of information that is in it. And this has gone through a number of reviews with Sean and the staff. We talked about materials. We talked about different processes that are part of ordering signs and that sort of thing. So, it is meant to provide Fair Oaks a consistent design language for signage across a full menu of different sign types. It really will help to reduce sign and visual clutter in the parks and present a consistent way of messaging to the users as well. There's a variety of sections in it. The first section looks to the administration of a sign program. So we looked at, how once you start to implement the system, what kind of maintenance is required. If it's day-to-day maintenance where someone just calls up and needs a new sign, to doing several signs in a park that might need more than just one or two elements. We've outlined different materials and the longevity of that material, what needs to happen over the course of 0 to 4, 5 to 9, or 10 to 15 years, and what you can expect from the system. We've also gone through and looked at the different types of parks and what types of signs might be needed in each one. And we also have placement drawings in the back of the manual as well. The manual provides all the design standards that are necessary to put the signs out to bid and get the signs built in a consistent manner over time. You may have one contractor that you're happy with and you use them often, or you may have to go to a variety of contractors. This manual will help to have a standard and a guideline for that. So there's standards for color and materials. We went through and updated all the pictograms so that there's a consistent use of pictograms in all the parks. The signage drawings, there's every sign type basically has two components to the drawing. There's the first page, which is a full color page, outlines all the graphic standards for the sign panel, the color, the dimensions. Here you see we added, one of our comments with the design previously was adding the Fair Oaks logo to more sign types, so we've done that. But there's again, the first sign or the first page is the graphic standards, and then the second page on the back side of that is the materials that are required for the variety of sign types. So 1/4 inch thick aluminum, how it's mounted, and those details that are necessary to get the pricing and then build the signs. There's all types of signs in here. We looked at the pavilions and the numbering system. We looked at directional signs. So this is vehicular directional, larger scale. There's also pedestrian directional. And again, there's elevations, there's profiles, there's plan views of each sign type. It also tells you what the typical use of that sign may be, parking signs, kiosks. So there's a kiosk with a stone base, sort of a more enhanced version of it. And then there's also just a post and panel version. There's versions of it that are one panel, 2 panels, or 3 panels. So we tried to give a lot of selection as you roll this out into the variety of parks. There's different sizes and scales of what might be appropriate for a different park. There's different mountings. So this is a rule sign that is on a post, or new post. This is on, maybe it has to be mounted to an existing post or mounted to a wall. So all of that is contained in the manual.
Great job.
Couple of questions, if you would. One, is this manual going to be online so we have access to it as a board member?
Yeah, the manual is a PDF, and Sean can post that wherever you need to post it.
That would be
Nobody
nice,
can read
because
it
I'd
right
like
now.
to study it in more detail. The other question I have is, what's your strategy for dealing with graffiti? Are these signs to be replaced when they're damaged, or are they protected with some kind of plastic?
Sure. Any signs that are vinyl get a clear vinyl overlay, which is anti-graffiti, and if it's paint, it gets a anti-graffiti coating.
Okay, is that sacrificial, or is it something when it's cleaned, it won't take the graphics off with it?
Oh, no, you can clean it probably up to 2 or 3 times before you start to really damage it.
And then I just want to ask the staff, are we going to order these individually when we need a replacement, or will we keep some of the most common ones in stock for the backup, for the quick replacement?
If I could, once we get our initial stock and everything's up, we'll have essentially a maintenance shop, just a stack of the most common ones that we'll just be able to, same day we see it, go out and replace the signs if they need replacing.
Thank you. That's all I have.
This is a great presentation. I look forward to actually seeing. I'm not sure why it wasn't just included. It would have been nice to have had it included, but it would be great to get an email of it all. Gender, are we going to be going forward putting all gender or unisex on bathrooms, or what is our plans for that?
We have to follow the California code for that, or California law for that. I'm not up to speed on it, but our new bathrooms will be the dictating portion of that for the Village Plaza Park.
And we don't know though what.
Off the top of my head, I can't answer what those are.
So then that's not in this.
These aren't, regardless of the sign, men, women, or all gender bathroom sign, it will look the same. That's the important part here. There's the font and all that.
Yeah.
So whether we use a men's, women's, or all gender, that the sign will look the same in terms of style and font and all that.
So still, most of our restrooms are male, female, not unisex.
Yeah, our new park again has to follow the California law. So
I'm talking about.
So there's all different layouts for it, and so you could just use the 2 symbols and say all genders, and just change that message for that particular restroom.
Yeah, our problem is we don't have locked doors, closed doors, or anything like that, so we can't really convert ours without.
and we're not, as far as I know, we're not required to do that until we replace that bathroom.
I believe the drop-in restrooms that we're putting in next to the playground are gender neutral.
That's good. I hope we do that everywhere.
Okay. Great presentation.
John, any questions?
I don't.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a good piece of work.
Thank you.
Okay. 7.3, discussion of possible action on approval of adjustment to salary schedule for recreation supervisor position.
Yes, I'm Jennifer Larkin, the Administrative Services Manager, and this item came to us fairly recently. It was discovered that our salary schedule currently, as is, does not meet California Department of Industrial Relations threshold for exempt pay for recreation supervisor positions at step 1. So at higher steps it does, step 1 and 2 do not. We currently have 2 recreation supervisors who are step 1 on the salary schedule, and so we have to increase the pay according to the salary schedule that was attached to the staff report up to the threshold. Additionally, there will be another increase in January because the minimum wage will go up with spikes in the minimum wage. That's another 3% increase in January. We do have some retro that we do need to do for those employees that were not being paid at the correct threshold. That goes back to January 1 for a couple of the positions. The total impact to the district's budget says 23,000 in the staff report. It actually is closer to 28 to 30. And that will be for this fiscal year. For next year, there's going to be another impact ongoing. And we did discuss this with the Personnel Management Committee on Monday. And I apologize for not updating the staff report on the website. I don't know why it didn't load. They did agree to recommend this, obviously, because it's a legal matter. They did request that staff look at doing an organizational assessment to ensure that the district is operating at maximum efficiencies. So we will be doing that. I think we're overdue for it, okay? So we'll be looking at that. In the meantime, we do need to ask you to adopt this new salary schedule. You'll see another one come to you in January with the minimum wage increase and then increase to the supervisor positions again.
So I have a big question. It used to, I'm a little confused about terminology. We used to have, I thought it was called exempt, but it may have been something else, confidential employees, which was just the administrator and the recreation and parks superintendents.
Those were,
I didn't know it
those
went
are
down to the supervisor level. Is that a change, or did I have the terminology wrong?
No, initially it was just those 3 positions, and then in 2017, we did a salary study, and there were some more positions that were made exempt based on moving the recreation coordinators to supervisors.
So how many do we have in addition to the original 3?
We have the 4 managers, so each of the department managers, and then 3 supervisors are exempt.
And how many does this change apply to? All of them?
Just the supervisor position. Everyone else is at the correct.
It's based on the algorithm of what minimum wage is
Right.
applying that.
So exempt means basically they're exempt from, they're not minimum wage, they're salaried workers.
They're salaried, so they're exempt from wage and hour
Yeah.
laws that apply to our staff.
And this is the total number of salaried workers, or everybody else?
This is
Pardon?
just, everyone else is at the correct pay rate.
But there are also salaried people beyond this.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. And minimum wage is just our part-time staffs.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
I make a motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
7.4, discussion of possible action approval of hiring above step 3 for recreation coordinator position.
Good evening, board directors. Nick Davis, the recreation manager. Myself and staff have been diligently trying to fill a vacant recreation coordinator position since June of this year. And I've had multiple candidates turn down our offers at step 1, 2, or 3 on the salary schedule. For the personal policy manual, the district administrator only has the authority to approve up to step 3 to any candidates without board approval. The district is placing a large emphasis on our marketing to obtain additional customers and drive additional revenues. Having an experienced marketing coordinator is paramount to the district's success for now and in the future as we continue to grow. Approval of the recommendation will allow us to offer more competitive wages to our candidates. And we currently have a candidate that is qualified that would like to offer step 4 too. As far as a financial impact, we've been saving for this since June of this year. So the increase in cost from step 3 to step 4 really isn't going to have an impact to the budget. So yeah, the recommendation would be to allow the district administrator to approve the step 4 the salary schedule for marketing coordinator position.
And just so I'm clear, this is specifically, we're approving for district administrator to approve this position specifically.
Yes, just this once.
Particular.
Yes.
And any other time it goes above 3 steps, I expect.
Yeah, great.
And do we have a candidate that's pending this?
We do have a candidate that's pending. He has asked for step 4. That's what I'd like to offer. We've got a few candidates that has to ask for higher. We weren't able to meet that, and they ended up turning us down.
Well, we only go to step 4, correct?
So we go up to step 6.
We do, okay. Chuck.
Well, I make the motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, now we are going to move on to item 8.1. We're going to go move into board and staff reports, I guess. Items from the board of directors. Anybody, John? No?
No.
No. Well,
Not this time.
okay. I am also good. We'll move on to 9.2, items from staff.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and, Nick, do you have anything?
Sure. As Sean would say, still Nick Davidson, recreation manager. So I do like to apologize for one thing. At our last board meeting, I did mention that we'd get a presentation on Chicken Festival. Sabrina Bernardo, a recreation supervisor, is currently out doing some of our Halloween events today. As Mary mentioned, we have Rocky's Hollow Trick or Treat Week series of different parks right now. So she is out there and unable to attend tonight's meeting, so we'll get that report next month. That's been a really fun event so far. I've been at the event the last 2 days. It's really cute seeing the kids out there showing off their costumes, trick or treating, participating in activities, and visiting the vendor booths. Another Halloween event that was wildly successful was the Trunk or Treat event in partnership with the Chamber and the Food Truck Mania and the Classic Car Show. We had roughly, and it's hard to really gauge, but I would say over 1,000 kids out at that event. It was just non-stop. The line wraps all the way around the front parking lot. So thank you to everyone that participated in that and passing out the candies and prizes. A lot of the vendors and cars that were passing out those things actually having to go to the store and buy more because they ran out. But wildly successful, so super excited for that, and hope to capitalize on that again next year.
Have we had Wild Bus activities recently? And I'm curious how well attended those are.
The Wild Bus, yeah, we've had a couple. It's really hit or miss with them. Sometimes, I think a lot of it's dependent on park and just kind of what might be going on with kids' activities. But sometimes we are very well attended, and sometimes it is pretty minimal. It is something I know we've talked about internally as staff to see how we want to approach the Wild Bus moving forward. It's always a great amenity when we have it at events. A lot of people do visit it. Sometimes when we take it out to the smaller pocket parks to draw those families in around, it's really hit or miss.
I'm curious if we get better attendance to things like Madison Place or String Park or Little Phoenix.
String Park, we actually had great attendance at. Madison Place, when I was at that one was pretty low attendance, at least the time that I was out there. It took the whole duration. Fair Oaks Park and Phoenix Park, we typically have a lot more, it's more of a built-in audience, people visiting the playgrounds there.
Thank you.
Sean?
I have nothing exciting to report at this time.
Jen, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can just stand here.
Actually, when it was.
You gotta be on the camera.
That way they know.
Good evening, board of directors. My name is Jen Diller. I'm the arts and entertainment director or manager. Sorry, nothing's too exciting. We don't have candy and costumes at our events yet because it's Department of One, but there's been a lot of paperwork development. So a lot of trying to build the infrastructure of how the operation of that building will go as soon as we do have it up and running. So there's a lot of stuff that has to go into that. So there's nothing else is there yet. As you guys have walked the site, there is nothing there, but there will be, and it'll be great. I've also been connecting with our community partners, the ones that we already have established, as well as the ones locally and in the greater Sacramento area, mostly theater groups, so that as soon as we do have the space, we will have programming that can go in there. I've also been working on the RFP for the concessions in both the amphitheater, the old library, and McMillan, so that's taken up quite a lot of my time. And we're also excited to offer some adult dance classes next quarter, so that's super exciting. So I think that's my update.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I do have something. We are almost finished with our 2021-2022 audit. And we'll be seeing that next month.
Are we gonna pass?
Jamie has been working very, 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 very hard.
All the funds are in place where they belong.
So I have a couple of things I wanted to go over. One of the things that was in your consent agenda, which would be the construction schedule update. I know that you wanted to hear that, so I want to give a summation, a little bit of that. I think Ian can pull that up so that it can be showed for the public and future use too. But I in your packet. Close. Yeah. Want me to go over those while you have them up?
Huh?
Want me to go over these while you have them up?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought this was.
No, I'll go back. This is the door for the amphitheater, the black box. This is the retractable door. They've got it up. This is this afternoon. They've got the frame all up, and it's in 4 panels on each side, so there's 8 panels. It's on that track where they're closing it. It will have a motor. It does have a motor on it now. This installation group does not do the electrical work, but they do the building of these panels. Very interesting. The stage will be able to be open in different widths, so it's not all or nothing. It can be a very narrow stage, a middle stage, or a 3/4 stage, or a full stage. So it's very, very interesting. It's great to see this part of the project done. The frameworking done. It's all custom. You don't go to the Lowe's and buy this. So it's a very unique product. And it got here. The guys did a great job putting it up. We're scheduled to be done Friday. They finished up today on their part of it. We won't see the covering of this for a while. That's a different group of folks. They'll come in.
What are the panels gonna be like?
I off the top of my head, I cannot answer that. So, I'd have to look at the designs and stuff.
But be a heavy door.
It's a heavy door. Definitely needs the most. So anyway, that was exciting to see that today. And I think we have some other pictures while we're on that. That's all right. That's that. Yeah. There we go. So this is the front and the front of the park, in front of the amphitheater. We're doing a lot of curb work, gutter work, sidewalk work, all of that. That's important because now you're going to start seeing shape in the front of the park. So sometime soon you'll start seeing that shape occur, and it's pretty exciting to see the shape, just like you're seeing the shape on the back part of the park, around where the fan shell is. Go ahead, Nick. And some more of that. That's where we'll have the outdoor seating area, the patio lights, and all of that kind of stuff out there. So a lot of earthwork and a lot of stabilization and foundation work. You can see the rock there. Again, as we've talked about this stuff is moving from side to side of the park. We don't have a lay down yard for this stuff. So it's moving back and forth. It's moving from the far end into this front end, being loaded and put into this position.
So the huge pile of dirt, I noticed that it shrunk considerably.
It is now sand, if you look.
Okay, so we didn't move that offsite. We used it all throughout where we're gonna do other stuff.
Yes, it's been moving. Good. Now it's new materials in there. So you look over there again today, and it's different type of materials. That's it.
That's all the pictures that I have.
Okay. Yeah, let's get the documents. Thank you.
So could you answer a question for me that I'm a little unclear on? For the completion date, I'm not sure if it's still October of 24, but there's the work completed and then there's like the acceptance date. Which one is the October?
Okay, and then go ahead and go to the summary sheet if you will. So you have this sheet in your packet. This is the complicated one. I'm not gonna go over this with you. It is available.
It's a simple question. When
Right,
will
and I'm gonna show you that in a second as soon as he pulls it up. Because I have it in the summary sheet for you. And it is in your packet.
Okay.
which was very helpful this month. by
Yeah,
the way.
it's just 4 lines, it's all 5 lines, but. Yeah, 5, 6 lines. Get it?
The date we're calling October, though, is the date that we can start renting and using facilities. Is that
Yeah,
right?
and here's what you're talking about here, the bottom line, Director Carhart, the full project completion date. You'll see that your last update was 10/9/2024. Now you're seeing an update of 10/23/2024. You may wonder why that is, and I'm gonna move you up to line 2 on that, or line, excuse me, yes, it'd be line 2 of the amphitheater, substantial completion date of 6/5/2024. It's moved to 6/19/2024. There's your additional days right there. They're associated to the amphitheater. Now, this is a draft. If you remember that, the thing we talked about that before is a draft. These dates are not solid because what you're seeing is the notes in its slippage in the windows and stucco. That's in the window install piece because of a scheduling for the windows to get here and for them to be installed. And the stucco, they're working on a adherent to the building piece still. And this could change again.
Understood.
Yeah, and-
That was made clear last time.
Right. So I just want to be certain.
My question is really on the October date, what
Right.
that means. Is there any planned establishment or guarantees after that? Or is
Right.
that when we get the project and it's ours to use?
Okay, so the line above that one's the project substantial completion date, and you'll see 6/19/2024. That is the date if we have all of our permits approved, occupancy given to us, fire inspections done, all of those things, if they happened exactly on that date, which they won't. We could go into the facility at that date. We won't get that. It won't happen on that date because there's too many moving pieces in those other elements. Is it likely for us to be there in front of 10/23 inside? It's very possible.
Okay, so you don't have to wait until 10/20
No.
to actually use facilities. We may be able to use the clubhouse or the arts and crafts building sometime after.
After 6/19 at this point.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, now that, again, we're assuming, all kinds of things still have to fall into place.
Right, that can slip, I understand.
Yes, but right now, so somewhere between 6/19 and 10/23, we should be able to be inside,
Okay, good.
if there's no major delays.
Now, one other question you raised by having it in this chart, are we using the change order form that's in the master?
You do have some now in your packet, the one, we only had one. There was one in your packet that I did send you. So yes, we are.
Why did we have to have, or why did we have to have it? And if we had to have it, why was it there? Why did we decide to have the change order? I can't remember, something like a whole, sky hole.
I honestly, to get this, I cannot remember what the change was. It was a
It's
very minor one.
It's
I
an
know.
access, like an door access panel route.
Oh, is that for the smoke hatch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fire department requirement for our smoke hatches, which are the big poles on the top of the clubhouse roof. If you are the amphitheater roof, you'll see 3 of them up there. They're giant releases for fire control. So there's a mechanism that has to be changed.
So Mike, because
But it's a minor thing.
there's a big swing between 6/19 and 10/23. It's very fluid, and so how are we going to figure out how we're going to begin to program our stage programs?
We have been talking about this today, and we're looking at a strategy, kind of a different strategy. I mentioned it to Director Tamani a little bit about that, is that how we could possibly, as we get closer, could we be able to put something in the park without buying the licensing, for an example, for a theatrical performance. So we're looking at that kind of option of how can we quickly put something in there prior to 10/23 if we're able to get in there. So it's a little tricky because you can't book, you're not going to be able to book and guarantee that you're going to be in there.
Yeah, but I mean, at least when it's substantially completed, well, the lighting is in, the sound system's in, it is ready to go.
As long as we have occupancy permits and all the inspections are done. Those are outside of our control. There could be a problem with those as well.
I understand.
Okay,
A lot of this has been out of our control.
it has been, it has been out of control. So yes, I agree. So I just don't want to put false hope that we're going to be in there on 6/19.
Right. Understood.
I do not want to do that.
So am I going to see the dates for March 20th for Village and Plaza?
Yes, that's what you're seeing there now. Is that March 20th? I'm going to look at 3/20. Yeah, Village Plaza site, yeah.
So
So what exactly?
Park, right?
The park.
That means that if we were to hold true to that, we would have occupancy.
No, that's not occupancy. That's substantial completion still.
so
So occupancy is still for 10/23 because of the inspections. A lot of that's tied to ADA, the fire, all those other things that are connected to this project. These don't stand alone. The park doesn't stand alone outside of the other pieces. It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
So, and plus we still have growing period within, and that growing period starts after substantial completion.
It's within the October.
Yeah.
date. Okay, I understand that thoroughly. What I don't understand, I had missed this in the staff report here, but you're still using the allowance expenditure directive form. Why
Yes.
are we not using the change order form? Because this form does not.
Because it still didn't create a change order yet. Right.
You will have a change order form because that's the one that.
In November, at your November meeting, you'll get those, as we had talked about that last.
That's the one that shows what the current completion date is and what the change and what the cost is. That's the only thing I'm really interested in seeing when it happens, because that gives us the sliding date for completion.
So, again, in November meeting, you'll get those past ones. This current one is not changing the schedule. The current one you got today, in your packet today. It's not changing.
Okay, so there's change orders that don't.
Don't change the
schedule, and they're done with the allowance expenditure.
Yeah, it does, it goes into.
Anything that changes the other, I really personally would like to see the change order form. Because it's so clear. You don't have to hunt around everywhere to find out which date is which.
Your current one, again, is the one that you have, we've told you, and you've asked me to give to you, every one that comes up every month, regardless of its change in schedule.
Okay.
And those are affecting the allowance.
Okay. Well, I appreciate those. For me personally, the one I want to see is when there's a sliding change in the date. And that one form is very, very clear, the way it reports it, and everybody signs off on it. Thanks.
So that was it for my update. I just wanted to make certain that you saw this and that this summary sheet is what you're looking for. If there's any adaptations, we can make those. But I'd like to be able to include the summary sheet, this cover sheet, on each one of the draft schedules that you see. So it makes it real clean for you to look at and say, yeah, that's what I understand this one. Instead of having to look at the timeline schedule.
Well, there's several places where I guess we can look for those dates. You can look at the task flow chart. You can look at this, I suppose. What I really want to look at is being able to see the change order forms as they're processed. I really don't care about all the rest of the minutia.
I like the summary sheet, and I would like to see you continuing adding the columns of the updates of the topic, because that's very helpful.
Yeah. And if it's okay, I'll just shift back. The next one will say 10/12 on your first column, and then November, whatever the board date is. So you won't keep adding a long, wide column in here as we continue.
All right, well, I guess we will move into a closed session.
We need to make a motion to do that.
Yeah.
I motion to move to closed session.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we won't rejoin as a public meeting at the end, or just
I think we have to rejoin and adjourn.
and everybody don't expect any excitement afterwards.
We're back.
All right, we are back. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
Seconded. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.